Dr. Lodge McCammon received his PhD from North Carolina State University and continued his work by developing innovative practices and sharing them with students, teachers, and schools across the world. At the Friday Institute for Educational Innovation, he developed a new teaching method called Fizz. So I just gotta say, really, a guy named Lodge, and he has something called Fizz. I'm thinking, whatever that is, it's gonna be good, right? And actually, that encourages teachers to use extraordinarily simple video recording techniques in order to completely transform teaching and learning. His career began at Wakefield High School in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm going to be there in 2 weeks, where he taught civics and AP economics. Lodge is a studio composer who writes standards-based songs with supporting materials about advanced curriculum for K-12 classrooms. His songs and related materials can be found in Discovering Education Streaming. He also has a YouTube channel featuring flipped teacher training. Follow him on Twitter at Pocket Lodge. And will you please help give him a warm welcome to Dr. Lodge McCammon.
Hello and good morning. My name is Dr. Lodge McCammon, and I'm so excited to be here this morning presenting at the Midwest Education Technology Conference in Missouri. Now, this is not a Skype keynote address. I'm actually out in the audience right now, probably managing behavior. Yep. So the first thing I'd like to do is give a big shout out and thank you to EducationPlus for having me. I'm so honored. Let's give a big round of applause. Also, I'd like to give a big round of applause to the state of Missouri, the Show Me State, number 24. Let's hear it. Come on. Yeah. Now, the title of my keynote today is Flipping the Classroom, Time to Teach. Now, how many of you out there have heard of flipping the classroom before? Raise your hand. I'm not surprised. It's been a very widely discussed topic over the past couple of years. Now, what you've probably heard is that you're like, oh, that's that thing where teachers are having students watch video lectures for homework, and then the students come in after they watch those lectures and they apply their learning in the classroom. Now, I think that that definition is a very small piece of the power of the flipped classroom. I think there's a much bigger vision that we are missing when we talk about just that. And so for the next hour, I'd like you to do me a favor. I want you to take everything that you know about the flipped classroom, your questions, your issues with it, your success stories, and I want you to put that aside and let me rebuild a different vision in your head about the flipped classroom. And at the end, you can decide whether you like the new vision or the old vision. So to move forward, I'm going to ask you to do something a little bit different. I'm going to ask you to take notes on the rest of this lecture video. So if you could take out some way of doing that, piece of paper, pencil, pen, iPad, whatever, some way to take notes, I'll give you just a second to do that. Okay, imagine with me, if you will, that every teacher in the United States, from kindergarten to 12th grade, every teacher has a YouTube playlist. And on their YouTube playlist, you can find a video of every topic that they teach, their own unique and creative story about each piece of content that they teach, using something as simple as this, like what I'm filming right now, with a cell phone on my tripod. I've got some whiteboards that I wrote on, and I'm talking about this lesson, I'm talking about this information, and this is a one-take video. I hit record, I talk about this, I hit stop, it's very simple, that video is done. Or you can use programs like Screencast-O-Matic that allow you to record your digital content, your voice, and your webcam in order to take those videos and upload them to your YouTube channel. So for example, every kindergarten teacher would create their own unique and artistic videos about things like how to say the letter A or write the lowercase b, while every AP economics teacher would create their own unique and artistic videos on topics such as aggregate supply and demand and the Phillips curve. Now, this level of transparency has never been possible before, but now we're walking around with high definition cameras in our pockets and free software to create things like screen capture videos. And the exciting thing about this is that this level of transparency, if each teacher did this, it would change the accountability model in this country, because every American teacher would be completely transparent and accountable for what they teach and how they teach it. So I believe that it's time for every American teacher to be a teacher to the world, to be a global teacher, to put your story out there, to put yourself out there and teach the world. I believe that's a very exciting concept. Now, what's additionally exciting are some of what I call the side effects of being a teacher to the world. If you have your YouTube playlist, if it's out there, there are side effects that are huge benefits. For example, I believe it's time to teach efficiently. And in a classroom, there are so many interruptions. And I'm going to put them in two different categories. There are cognitive interruptions. For example, what period is it? Right? What did I say? Did I already say this to you guys, or did I say this yesterday? Is this period 4? That's a cognitive interruption, just trying to keep straight all this content that you're trying to tell these different groups of students and repeating yourself and trying to keep track of that. And then there's the interruption of behavior management. You're in the middle of saying something and a student is talking in the back and another student is asleep up here, and you need to deal with those things. This method of filming your content or creating your content has no interruptions. You get through what you need to get through very quickly and efficiently. Also, it's very simple and concise. We can make our content very simple and concise, the information that's out there, because the focus is on us and our story, and these videos can be seen as many times as students need to process that information. So we've seen, with no interruptions and the simple and concise videos, we've seen 60-minute lectures or direct instruction be consistently reduced to about a 10-minute video. Very efficient. Now, we also believe it's time to teach ourselves, or time to teach yourself. And that's based in reflective practice. And reflective practice is a very simple concept. I'm going to practice it here in a couple minutes. When this video is done, when I'm finished with this, I will walk around the camera, turn it off, and watch myself back, looking for two things. One, how did I do? Because in the moment of teaching or whatever, I don't really know how I'm doing. And the second is, how can I get better? What can I do to change to make myself better? Because that's the key for reaching your potential, because you are your best teacher. And then it's also time to teach your community. And this is heavily based in the relationships that we build. Not just with our students, but with their parents and our administrators and our peers. Imagine the feedback we get from flipped teachers who make themselves completely transparent and accountable to their community. And the feedback they get is, especially from parents, students, and administrators, my teachers are on YouTube. That's a very powerful statement. My teachers are completely transparent and accountable for what they teach and how they teach it, and I can tune into them whenever I need to check in with what's going on in that classroom with that information. I believe this is the power of the flipped classroom.
Upon watching that, I'm sort of blown away. I got to reflect on my own practice, even walking around. I hadn't watched that whole video all the way through. It's something I created a couple of days ago. And I look at that and say, I love this idea of redefining accountability, because where we are right now, our accountability model is testing. And a lot of teachers I talk to, what goes along with that accountability model is fear. And I've experienced that fear myself. The last year that I taught at Wakefield High School, the last semester I was there, I remember the principal came in and he said, you know, if anybody in here is a department meeting, if anybody in here is not on board with maximizing student test scores, then you're not in the right place. It's not like 20 years ago when we can waste time in the classroom singing songs, which will have a little more impact. Some of you already know kind of my background when we get into some more of this stuff that I do. But that had a really strong impact on me, and it's created sort of this fear, and I believe that a lot of people feel this fear. Now, why I love this model of redefining accountability is that it's sort of what we do in America, in that we develop amazing things after trying so many things that don't work, but we leap ahead. I think this video overstates. It's saying every American teacher should be transparent and accountable. I don't even think it would take that to start. That doesn't have to be the spark. In Missouri, if every teacher in Missouri was completely transparent and accountable like this, that would change the world. And it's something like this could happen in 1 year if we decided to do it. I think that even overstates. I think if one school system in Missouri decided to do this, it would change, it would make education history. Making that statement that a 21st century teacher is one that is completely transparent and accountable. Basically, every 21st century teacher is a teacher to the world. I think that's really interesting. So I want to explore this just a little bit further. I would like you guys to get into groups of 4. You don't have to move around or anything, but just identify a group of 4. And once you've identified a group of 4, identify a facilitator or leader of your group. And as soon as you've identified a leader, that leader or facilitator's job is to quiet the group down. So I'll give you about 20 seconds. Group of 4, identify a leader. Okay, facilitators, you should please quiet down your groups. I love how that works, by the way. Okay, facilitators, they should be silent. Fantastic. I would like you to consider this question. In one word, what would be the biggest benefit of having all your lessons published online? All the things, all that basic transaction of what goes on in your classroom, those basic things that you're responsible for sharing with other people. What if those were all efficiently online? What would be the biggest benefit? Now, what I want you to do is discuss this in your group. I'm going to give you 4 minutes to discuss this in your groups. But you can't use, and I want you to summarize it in one word, but you can't use the word transparent, accountable, efficient, reflective, or relationships, or any derivation of those words. Okay? So in your groups, and the facilitator, your main job is to make sure that everyone participates. No one gets to opt out and be like, nah, well, I'm on Twitter right now. No, everybody has to share their opinion, whatever that is. And if you have a problem with a group member, raise your hand and I will come over and deal with them personally. Okay? Put your hands down. We haven't started. So 4 minutes and begin. April. Facilitators, please quiet down your groups. A lot of really great discussion. I got a chance to sit in with a couple of groups that were discussing things. It's fascinating. If the facilitators, would you take your word, and right now on the count of 3, we'll do have the room. Just don't scream it, but just yell it out so I can possibly hear it. On this side of the room, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. No clue. On this side of the room, 1, 2, 3. This is closer. I got some ability trailed off at the end. Still don't have any idea. All right, so as I was going around, I identified 2 groups that I would like to come up here and share. I thought they had exemplary responses, exemplary conversations going on. So April and Kyle, would you come up here? And Kyle, I'm going to ask you to go first. I'm going to have them film their response so we can have an archive of their discussion, of their response to this question. So if you take a seat. Will we give him the microphone? Switch it on, bro.
Testing.
Okay.
We got it.
Okay, in 3, 2.
If all of our content was published online, we would have an amazing foundation on which we could build and grow, and the things that we're learning at this conference we could apply every day in our classrooms.
Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. Kyle, will you stay up here, please? Yeah. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Turn it on. Did he turn it off? Fair enough.
All of our lessons were online. Then when we have our snow days, our students would not lose their instructional time with us.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah, stay up here, please. All right, so I filmed using my cell phone. I just have a little adapter on a tripod. And one of the things I really love about what I call one-take videos, which is the video strategy they use all the time, I mean, that's my setup, that's my recording studio, is that it's incredibly rapid creation, keeping the focus on the content, not necessarily on the technology. Because there's very little technology that just happened there. But we get to rapidly create and then review. So I'm having them stay up here because I want them to reflect on what they just did. So I'm just going into my camera and dropping these videos on the desktop so we can watch them back. Now we're going to watch Kyle's first. And Kyle, if you would, just walk around so you can see it. What I want him to do is reflect on his video, which is look at what did you like, at least one thing, and then what would you do different if you had a choice, or if you had a chance to do it again.
If all of our content was published online, we would have an amazing foundation on which we could build and grow, and the things that we're learning at this conference we could apply every day in our classrooms.
All right, so what did you like, and if you got to do it again, what would you change?
Well, I really like that I outsourced my artistry to my group members because my handwriting's really bad. Yeah. And what I would do is probably elaborate and maybe tell a story of why, expand it a little bit further.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
I won't switch it off this time.
All right, April?
Can you hear me?
Turn it on. Did he turn it off?
You turned it
I
off.
staged it.
Fair enough.
Thanks. Well, if all of our lessons were online, then when we have our snow days, our students would not lose their instructional time with us. Well, I think I would like to edit out the part where the mic wasn't on, and maybe add a little more color, because compared to his image, mine didn't look so great. But otherwise, I think I was right on.
Yeah, you nailed it. All right, let's hear it for Kyle and April. Thank you guys for coming up.
In planning for this keynote, I had a choice to make. I could have delivered a 40-minute live lecture covering the transparency and accountability model I was talking about, covering the efficiency, the reflective practice, and relationships, those side effects. And that would easily taken me 40 minutes because I would have told some stories, probably told some jokes, showed you a bunch of pictures, maybe some graphs and data, and certainly some images that help illustrate my points. And I would have also experienced a lot of cognitive interruptions. You know, like there would have been, I would have looked out among the crowd and be like, I don't think people are liking this. Maybe I should tell another joke. And then everybody laughs, or I hope they would laugh. And then I see somebody on their iPad in the front row on Twitter, and I kind of walk over there, pause what I'm saying, and make sure it's not something negative. And if it's positive, I'll be like, hey, and I'll call that person out. Anyway, but all those types of things slow down the delivery of information, when all I really wanted to do was give you that core knowledge so we can get to the good parts. And the good parts are you guys experiencing in an activity, in a discussion. You guys are wrestling with the content. You're doing the work, not me up on stage doing all the work. So my choice, the choice that I usually take, is to film that content ahead of time, and that content was about 8 minutes. And while that content was playing, I was out among you. I was managing the classroom. I could correct some behavior. If a student of mine, one of you guys, was on Twitter during the video or on Facebook, I can correct that behavior. And I can also use that as sort of a formative assessment. If I'm out among you while that video is playing, I can get a better feel for who's really getting it and who's not, because if a student or 2 or 5 aren't getting it, I can always peel them off before the activity and put them on a computer to watch it again, so they're ready to participate fully in any kind of activity or discussion afterwards. So what this really leaves is that, so if I condense the 40 minutes to 8 minutes, well, simply that leaves 32 minutes that I didn't have before for an activity and discussion. And we used some of that time, and I challenged you to collaborate. And I differentiated instruction. I pulled some people up on stage and had them do some additional work because I felt like they were exemplar students. And then we had time for student creation and reflection. We actually created some things, put them up on screen, and had the students reflect on the things they've created to make them better, to help them reach their potential for learning. So according to me, I think that the real flip, when we talk about flipping the classroom, I think the flip is in efficiency, making the classroom much more efficient.
Oh, thank you. I'm not done. I'm not done. Just not even close. So much more to say, but I appreciate that. So this, I know, what I'm thinking, I'm watching this, I'm like, why in the world is this guy using these whiteboards? It's the 21st century, man. Like, this is kind of crazy. Why is he doing that? Well, I can explain it for me. There's a couple different reasons. I want to cover 3 right this second. First, it's quick to create something like this. It's very rapid. I just draw on some stuff. I can film it quickly. I watch it back. I get to the reflecting part of it very quickly. The second is that it's very personal. The focus is on me and the story. It's almost like I'm having a conversation. I mean, if you were a student and watching this on a screen here, it'd be like I'm right there. I'm across the table from you. And it can be very engaging for students. And the third is I provide, when I look at this, I feel like I'm providing a very wireframe bit of information for my students. What I would like them to have in their notes is up here. And I want them to take notes. But I also want them to take notes while they are listening to me. I want them to get good at that. And this helps train them, because if I keep my presentation simple and I'm limited to sort of what I can write on this board, it helps me focus on the story that I'm delivering and not all the graphics that I can put up there. So those are some basic reasons why I go with this method, and I'm just sort of addicted to this method. Now, of course, there are other ways to go about this. This is basically the same lecture using, again, that program I was talking about, Screencast-O-Matic, and there are a number of screen recording softwares that are very inexpensive or free online. So screen recording software, Screencast-O-Matic is an example. But let me tell you a story about this. So I created that video, the other one with the writing. It took about 5 minutes for me to draw that out. Just a sketch, wireframe. Again, what I would expect students to have in their notes. And it took 5 minutes, and then I filmed it in 6 minutes, and it's a 6-minute video. When I went to create this one, it reminded me of being a first-year teacher, which is spending like 3 hours searching for a lesson plan on some topic, and then after 3 hours being like, it would have taken me 30 minutes just to do it myself. You get lost in the infinity of the web. Because I did that with this image. I'm like, I wanted an image, the thing that I drew, I just wanted something very simple like that. There are like 45,000 maps of Missouri, and you're just like scrolling. I don't know if that one's copyright protected. Like I gotta go to a different site and find. It's just we get caught up in finding all that when really I just wanted a little wireframe kind of design so students could put that in their notes so we can move ahead. Now, one of the last thing that I really dig about this is something we get a lot of feedback on. So I've sat in a lot of classrooms where teachers introduce this method, like the whiteboards and the teacher sitting there, introduce this method to their students and play this video in the classroom. And every single time I do this, every single time I'm sitting there, with the students, the video doesn't get 30 seconds before a number of kids are like, oh my gosh, you're famous. You're to the teacher. Oh my gosh, just blew my mind. But very quickly, it turns into, do we get to do that? Give me the stuff. I can design something. I can do this. And that's really the vision here, is that we're modeling a very low barrier and scalable way. You got 30 kids in a classroom, put them in groups of 4, give them each a couple boards, and let them design something, and then sit them in a chair and have them lecture that, have them teach that information. And this applies to pretty much any group, or any age group of students that you can think of. And it's very powerful.
My name is Elizabeth, and I'm going to teach you guys how to use a number line and what adding and subtracting is. So a number line is a line that has numbers on it that can help.
That was my niece, Elizabeth, and she was 5 years old when she was filming that. And she films those things all the time because she wants to be like me. And so she'll film these, and then she'll call me on her mom's phone, which she's not supposed to. And she'll say, Uncle Lodge, I just did another one. It's the best one. It only took me 3 takes. And let me tell you why it's the best. And she starts going through this list. But like the first time I said hello, and the other time I said hello. She goes through this list. And then follows up by, Uncle Lodge, can you please put this one on YouTube and share it? Can you do that? Because she loves that idea. I don't know why. I don't know where it comes from. But she also loves to watch herself perform. And even in something like that, she's obsessed with watching herself perform because she wants to get better. She's reflecting on all this work she's doing. She was 5 years old. So it can be very powerful. But now we're left, so I want to sort of switch gears. That is a strategy that we could use to challenge students during this new class time. But really the question is, what do we do with this new class time? And that's one strategy. But really what I want to talk about is a project that I'm working on. Now, in the introduction, they said that I write a lot of music about education, topics in science, math, social studies specifically, some in language arts. I'm working on some more things. But about 6 months ago, I started a new project that I call the 50 States album. And actually, it was an idea of Lance Rougies from Discovery Education, who I talked to a couple years ago about something like this, and he said, you should do this. So finally, I had the opportunity to start this. And I'm writing one song about every state in the United States. So 50 songs covering the basic history, geography, and economic structure of that state in like 3.5 minutes. It's a little intense. But I just want to take you through, and the point of it is to create this album for 4th graders across the country so that they can be engaged by learning this basic information about their state, or at least help with that teaching. I want to take you through the basic process and how I create a song for this album. So the first thing I do is I have to do research. I was a social studies teacher, but it's amazing how little I know about, I shouldn't say this out loud, our country's history, or specifically about the different states. And it's incredible how unique every single state is. By the way, I've finished 17 so far, and it takes me between 40 and 45 hours to do each one. Oh, thank you. That wasn't planned. Now we're falling behind. I don't know. So anyway, I take one of these whiteboards that I use for my lecture because that's how I think best, is kind of brainstorming this way. And I start taking notes. I start reading articles, journals, historical things online, and then I watch some YouTube videos and get a better understanding, but I start looking for themes. And so these are my notes, and then I started playing violin at a very young age when I was 2, Suzuki music trained, and one of the things that it has allowed me is to look at something like this, which is chaos, I look at this, and my brain just I just look at it long enough, like this, and then I get thirsty, and then do a drink, and I come back, and then I see poetry. I see poetry that represents all that information in that chaos. So now, as a musician, my responsibility is to now take that poetry, and I look at the poetry, and I hear music. And my responsibility as an artist is to project that music, record that music. So I usually start with some basic tracks. So I have a recording studio in my house. So for this particular song, I started with an electric guitar track. So here's what it looks like. You'll notice that I was playing to a metronome to keep me on track because I'm going to be adding layers to my own song. So the second thing I do, I walk in the living room and I put on a drum track. I know, I'm really good. So I go back in the little studio area and I put a bass track on, electric bass. You're not supposed to play with your thumb, but I do. I know, I'm really good at that too. So my parents had been playing on a number of these songs. My dad was a record producer in Chicago where I grew up, and my mom was an orchestra director. So they'd been coming into Raleigh and spending large amounts of time with me. And so they helped me create these songs. And so the next part we put on was a violin part that my mom did, so she plays violin. I'll tell you, I thought that was funny. And then my dad plays some keyboard, so he put on an organ track, so here's what that looks like. All right, so now the three of us get together, and I was like, oh, we should put on this hand clap track. So here's what the hand claps look like. My mom's facial expressions, just funny. So now I go back and I take that poetry that I had written from that chaos before, and now I sing that poetry to all these instruments that I have layered.
You're gonna have to show me. I'm from Missouri. I'm not convinced by frothy eloquence. Lewis and Clark's score of discovery. From the Mississippi Open this gateway to the west. In independence we began on the Oregon Trail, or by pony we can quickly get the mail from St. Joseph to our settlers not close to the rail. Hey Missouri, we're the 24th expansion tail.
Okay. And then the last track we put on, I had my dad put on a background vocal track, and he's just a character.
With the 24th expansion tail.
So then we can listen to the entire song. All the pieces put together.
Hey Missouri!
Controlled by France, then Spain, then France again. Napoleon, he made the call, 3 cents an acre, take it all. Louisiana purchased part of Jefferson's plan, then Little Dixie on the river, mostly upper South. Men started a slave state, part of the compromise. Honey war with Iowa for our northern line. St. Louis massacre to stop a Confederate stand. Guerrilla fighting on Missouri land. You're gonna have to show me I'm from Missouri. I'm not convinced by frothy eloquence. Lewis and Clark's core of discovery from the Mississippi. Open this gateway to the west. In independence we began on the Oregon Trail, or by pony we can quickly get the mail from St. Joseph to our settlers not close to the rail. Hey Missouri, we're the 24th expansion tail. Our named river runs west to east across our middle, giving settlers Kansas City to St. Louis. Yeah, Jefferson City in between north and west to rolling plains and our many streams south through the Ozarks, a dissected plateau, a Midwest state where southern crops that grow. The Platte Purchase bought us our windy piece north and west of Platte City. You're gonna have to show me I'm from Missouri. I'm not convinced by frothy eloquence. Lewis and Clark's core of discovery from the Mississippi. Open this gateway to the west. In independence we begin on the Oregon Trail, or by pony we can quickly get the mail from St. Joseph to our settlers not close to the rail. Hey Missouri, we're the 24th expansion tail. A song from the eastern bluebird will sing for you, while the flowering dogwood has colors to choose. Dogwood has flowers to lose. This hawthorn can grow 20 feet too, so let the welfare of the people show us the truth and be the law that will guide us through. Trade grew in St. Louis, filled Louisiana orders from our eastern river border. After civil war and industrial boost had manufacturing jobs to our produce railroads in Kansas City to the west, a destination for cattle from Texas. Built up highways allowing the people to choose their suburban avenues. You're gonna have to show me I'm from Missouri. I'm not convinced by frothy eloquence. Lewis and Clark's core of discovery from the Mississippi. Open this gateway to the west. In independence we began on the Oregon Trail, or by pony we can quickly get the mail from St. Joseph to our settlers not close to the rail. Hey Missouri, we're the 24th expansion tail.
What just happened? What was I saying? So for all these songs, I'm creating these things I call kinesthetic lectures. And these kinesthetic lectures are lectures because they talk about the basic information in the song, but they're kinesthetic because it connects them with basic kinesthetic movements. So I'd like to go through the kinesthetic lecture of the chorus of what you just did all together. So if everybody would stand up, that would be fantastic.
You're gonna have to show me I'm from Missouri. I'm not convinced by frothy eloquence. Lewis and Clark's core of discovery
from the Mississippi open this gateway to the west. In Independence, we begin on the Oregon Trail, or by pony, we can quickly get the mail. From St. Joseph to our settlers, not close to the rail, hey Missouri, we're the 24th expansion tail. Let's try it with the music.
War with Iowa for our northern line. St. Louis massacre to stop a Confederate stand. Guerrilla fighting on Missouri land. You're gonna have to show me I'm from Missouri. I'm not convinced by frothy eloquence. Lewis and Clark's corporate discovery. From Mississippi, open this gateway to the west. In Independence, we begin on the Oregon Trail. Or by pony, we can quickly get the mail. From St. Joseph to our settlers, not close to the rail. Hey, Missouri, we're the 24th expansion tail. Our name river runs.
All right, let's try it one more time.
Once more. I gotta watch you this time.
Line, St. Louis massacre stop a Confederate stand. Guerrilla fighting on Missouri land. You're gonna have to show me I'm from Missouri. I'm not convinced by frothy eloquence. Lewis and Clark's corporate discovery. From Mississippi, open this gateway to the west. In Independence, we begin on the Oregon Trail. Or by pony, we can quickly get the mail. From St. Joseph to our settlers, not close to the rail. Hey, Missouri, we're the 24th expansion tail. Our name river runs.
Thank you very much.
So that is the chorus.
Let's give him one more big round of applause for my flash mob. Now, the lesson plan idea here is that I create these kinesthetic lectures to help students create really great music videos. It's the foundation. So it's an activity that we can do with as big a class as we need, and then the assignment becomes, all right, so you know the basic movements, now create your own. Create better movements, because I know I'm an amazing dancer. Nope, it's not funny. Let's try that again. You know I'm an amazing, it needs to be silent after I say that. Or just go, mm-hmm. You know I'm an amazing dancer. I like this side of the room. This is good. This is good. Hold on. Anyway, so the lesson plan, nope, didn't like it. The lesson plan becomes handing it over to the students, create your own learning in this way, create your movements and discuss what they mean and how to make them better. And the product ends up looking something along these lines. And this is a product from, Kyle and I did a video challenge a couple of years ago for Discovery Education, and this is one of the really high-ranking videos, not the winner, maybe second place, in the challenge. It's talking about cells.
Well, I have a theory Schleiden, Schwann, and Verco agree with, that all living things have basic cells. Yeah, Anton believes it, the first to see it. Hooke was wowed by a cork when he put it under a microscope. Plants have cellular walls, but we don't need them at all. Our little membranes are flexible and strong. They pack their vacuoles in with chloroplast. They begin collecting sunlight, afraid of the dark again. Now I gain control, grab the joystick and manage the nucleus, deciding what comes in there and who should leave its exclusive access.
You know, during my flash mob session yesterday when we were working on that, somebody tweeted, I think they tweeted something I said, I don't remember saying it, but they said that this lesson plan was the perfect storm. And I truly believe that. I think it's connecting with so much interest that students have. It has a social interest of this being published, it has movement, it has discussion, collaboration, all of these things, even though it is dancing. So it's fantastic. If you go on YouTube and search Den Dr. Lodge Music Challenge, you can look at all the different submissions that were there. A lot of them are just fantastic, like this. So, yeah. So people ask me, people ask me what I do. People who don't know me, what do you do? And usually my response is, well, I'm a musician, And I see this look of mistrust in their eyes. They're just like, you're not a musician, Yeah, so is my, 8-year-old cousin who's had a guitar for a month. Yeah, you're a musician, sure. But then they go on to YouTube and they search my name, sometime later. And they see me playing. They see me playing all sorts of different things, different instruments. And the next time I see them, they come up to me like, man, I didn't believe you. I didn't believe that you were a musician, but you are. I saw products of you doing music, and in the 21st century, that validates you as a musician. I get it. Yes, you are a musician. And a musician without a website and without any presence online, I don't know. In the 21st century, is that person really a musician? Yes, maybe, but certainly not playing in the 21st century world. So people ask me what I like to do for fun, what I enjoy doing in my free time. And I tell them, I like to dance. Again, not funny. I don't know. What. So, maybe they've seen some of those kinesthetic lecture things, and they're just like, you're not a dancer. They just look at my physique, and they're just like, no, you don't do that. But then they go on YouTube, and they search my name, and they come across something like this. And I did an experiment about a year ago with a really good friend of mine, and we took 10 weeks of dance classes using mostly reflective practice. We would film ourselves all the time so we knew what we looked like, and it improved our skill level immensely over 10 weeks. So people go on YouTube, and they see something like this, and they come back to me, and they're like, you are a dancer. I didn't realize that. Like, that's good. In the 21st century, this validates me as a dancer. Taking my word for it apparently doesn't anymore. So people ask me, other than music, you got to do something other than music. What do you do? I tell them, well, sometimes I do presentations, workshops, keynote speeches. And if people don't know me, they'll be like, you? With those clothes? You haven't had a haircut in No, you don't do that. You don't do that. And so they go on YouTube, and they see a presentation that I've done. They can watch a clip of some presentation I did, and then the next time they see me, they come back and they're like, you know what? You do this work. I get it. Being up here, being transparent in the things that I do, validates the things that I do in the 21st century.
People ask me what I love, and I tell them I love teaching, I love teachers, and I love helping students learn. And then they usually say something like, well, bless your heart, thanks for doing that. And then they go on YouTube and see some of my lessons that I have published and come back to me and say, wow, you are a good teacher, and I actually learn stuff from watching your videos. We have the opportunity to redefine what it means to be a 21st century teacher. Every 21st century teacher in America should be completely transparent and accountable for what they teach and how they teach it, so they can harness some of the amazing side effects of efficiency, reflective practice, and relationships that result from flipping the classroom. How did I do?
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. I would add that, again, my passion here is that this is going to be the future somewhere. This has to be. This move to this kind of accountability is going to be the future. I'm saying we should do it first. The American teachers should do this first because we can and because we deserve that credit. We all work very hard. No group of people in the entire world deserve more credit than, I'm going to say, us. We deserve that credit. And I want us to change the world and change the course of education, redefining it. So to help, I've created a number of resources. that are free and online. We created a flipped classroom training program a couple of years ago, and it is completely free. I encourage anyone to look at it. The resources themselves are open and available to anyone. Don't even have to sign up to go through the information. Want to be totally accessible for everybody. And I would like to close with sort of a moment of Zen, at least it will be for me, because this is my niece now, and now she's 6 years old. Her name is Elizabeth, and she took her experience with creating content where she's sitting down in the chair explaining things, and now she is singing. She uses the same process. So we are working, she lives in Tennessee, and I live in North Carolina, and we're working on an album together from a distance. We'll write songs together, and then she'll use her iPhone and film herself and send me the video, and I put a little guitar part to it, put it together, and put it up on YouTube. And she's able to reflect on not only how she's presenting herself, but also how she is singing. And it's quite amazing. So this is only the second song we've done. The song is called Home, and here is my niece, Elizabeth. Thank you, EducationPlus. Thank you, Missouri. You guys are awesome.
Oh my gosh, one more round of applause for Lodge. Not fun following him. I want to comment on something Lodge did. It was very diplomatic, Lodge, and very clever. Obviously, he did a lot of research on Missouri. You could tell that, right? But perhaps the most clever thing he did, and well done, is he pronounced the state both ways. He knows we have all kinds of Missourians here today. Missouri, Missouri. That was pretty well done. You followed our governor does that, and I'm very impressed with that.